Hey, Joe Moorcroft.
Hey, Vicky D.
Vicky D. So,
I thought that'd throw you.
This week's episode, we're going to cover a few things that have come up in not only our Facebook group, but other Facebook groups that we've been in. So the first thing that we wanted to address is this age-old question of, you've got a job, a full-time job, you do dog training on the side, when is the right time? So the question that came up in another group that I'm in was, how do you know when you're ready to go all in on dog training? How do you know if you're going to get enough clients? She didn't want to be hit with big bills, and if she was investing in her business with processes and systems, how does she know she's going to get enough in to cover those costs every month?
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
And it's one that I know will be on a lot of people's minds.
We hear it a lot in our group, don't we?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually going to make a reference to an episode we did a while back, not too long ago, I think, where you were interviewing me, because I was in that situation.
Well, the one we've just done?
Yeah. But it would have gone out a few weeks ago by the time this one comes out.
Oh, yes. Of course it would.
What I have to put up with, people.
We've literally just foiled our, yes, we batch record. Anyway.
So go and listen back to that episode, because I was in that situation where I was in corporate. But what I would say on that is there's no easy answer. There's not a case of going, right, this is the perfect time to do it. It's almost like if you decide you're going to get a puppy, or if you decide you're going to have kids, or you decide you're going to get married, or whatever it is. It's like there's never a good time to do anything. So
can always put stuff in the way, can't you? There's always going to be a holiday, a thing, a wedding to pay for,
unexpected bill, or even planned bills, that they're coming in, whatever it is.
The car is always going to break, people, can I just say?
And also, FYI, as soon as you do make this decision, the universe will test the crap out of you and throw everything and go, oh, are you triply sure? Because now your car actually has broken down. Oh, and the gas and electric's just gone up. Oh, and your council tax has gone up. Oh, and something else and something else and something else.
But if you go in with it going, that's probably going to happen anyway. We're all good.
Yeah. So I think be prepared for that to happen, because whether you believe in universal stuff or not, it will. I've seen it time and time again. In terms of planning for it, this might sound a little bit counterintuitive, but I think it's preparing your mindset more than anything else, because if you can mentally prepare for the fact that you are going to have to do some graft, and you are going to have squeaky bum moments where you're like, oh God, this is painful, this is scary, there is no money coming in, I haven't got that paycheck coming at the end of the month, I've got no clients because nobody knows about me yet, and maybe I'm a little bit too, I was going to say scared, kind of falls into that category. But if you are a little bit nervous about actively reaching out to people, and you think people are just going to come to you, and again, I'd be lying if I didn't think that at one point. It's like, oh, well, surely if I just put a little message out on social media and say, hi, I've got this service, I am now a dog trainer, you can buy me.
People flocking.
And then it's like, ping, all the stuff, all the inquiries start flooding in. I'm like, unfortunately not. No, there's a bit more involved. So I think as long as you're going in with an open mind to go, right, I'm literally just going to do whatever I need to do to make this thing work, then I think you're going to succeed. Yeah,
and it's an element of strategy there as well, though, isn't there? Because when I looked back at the process when I finished, so I had, it was a 30-hour-a-week job at the council, and I was doing dog training along the side of it at that point, and I was thinking about it for a while to go all in with dog stuff, and ended up supplementing it with dog walking, which I've covered in these episodes before. But my teetering was like, oh gosh, I've got to make that work. I've got to make sure I get enough dog walking clients, sorry. So in my mind, I'm going, well, I've got a good dog training business. I've got a good feed of people that come in who are looking for a dog walker. So therefore, I was like, well, actually, I'm just going to utilise that. So that's what I started doing. I started putting the feelers out before I'd even finished my job, who would be looking for a dog walker? Who do you know that would benefit from a dog walker? Oh, I would. And I was literally just putting out emails or speaking to people and just finding out if there was enough of a call for it. And there absolutely was. So I was like, well, there's proof of concept there. I've got this constant stream of people coming in for dog training, which I was never like not filling. So that was quite a reliable kind of funnel of people coming in. So I was like, do you know what? When the opportunity came up to take voluntary redundancy, it was a choice. But I was like, hell yeah, I'll take it because I've got something. I didn't just go, right then, I'm going to try and just find some random people who need dog walking. I was like, there's some strategy there that I've already thought of. And actually looking back at that process, I was like, I kind of did that without even realising it. But it just made sense to do it like that.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think if you're already thinking about going into business and doing something, then you're going to have an element of some business acumen somewhere, even if it doesn't feel like you've got any knowledge or any.
Myself.
I can see by your face.
Oh, revelation!
I am a businesswoman.
I did know something after all.
But yeah, I think if you're already thinking that way, if you're already thinking, I want to go and do this and I want to earn some money from it, then you've already got something more about you than the majority of other people, because the majority of other people are quite happy being in an employed job, which there's nothing wrong with it. Bloody hell, would be screwed if everybody suddenly jumped ship and decided to run their own business. You'd be absolutely fucked. But, you know, it's a small percentage of people that feel confident enough to go out and create the business. There's loads of people that have the ideas. But yeah, the fact that you're even thinking about it, I'm like, jump, like fucking go for it. If you haven't proven the concept to yourself in that you haven't tried it, then there's two ways of looking at it. One, you could go and dabble and do some part-time stuff, which is how a lot of us have got into it. It's how I did. I dabbled for a bit and then thought, I can do this. But then there's the other side. I'm going, look at how many other people are actually doing this. So the proof of concept is also there, even though you haven't specifically done anything. So yeah, it's there's no right time.
No, and I guess it's worth like just reiterating the foundational pieces that you could still be working on as well, is to, like we talk a lot about within our programs, is like those core pieces that keep the business going even when times are shit. And even when you think that it could fall apart because you broke your leg or your husband suddenly loses his job and you need to bring extra money in, or you don't make any money for a little bit, the business is that solid and that foundationally sound that it doesn't just crumble. So there is work you can be doing in the background that isn't outwardly kind of seen, I suppose, but that is worth kind of thinking about as well.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, the bit that we probably didn't mention, which ties in nicely with that, and oddly isn't a plug for us, although it could be, but just go and consume some stuff about business. Do not get caught
from the dog industry.
Yeah, do not get caught in the trap of thinking you need to just have dog knowledge, because in the grand scheme of things, if you haven't got a business that's going to generate clients, then you can have all the dog knowledge in the world. But if anything, like get the business up and running and supplement it with your dog knowledge so you can learn whilst you grow that business. And this is where, again, it can feel really overwhelming, because then we're going, oh, fuck, okay, so I've got to learn that and this and that and this. And, well, yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is, because you're stepping into that world where you are going to be your own boss and you will have to do everything.
I've literally just done a post on Instagram about, did you get into dog training to be a dog trainer, or do you do it for the business side? Like, I don't think many of you listening to this podcast are going to go, yay, I wanted to run a business, so I got into it, like our friend Joe over here did. Kind of. You did it for a bit of both, really. But if only we all did it that way round, if only we went, want to run a business, what do I love? And you did it that way around, because it would be built the right way then. It would be built solidly. It would have all those foundational pillars, wouldn't it? But we don't. We go, oh, we love that. Oh, shit, now we've got to actually try and make it work. So that's the bit where we tie ourselves up in knots. overcomplicate it. Let's face it, we overcomplicate everything, because like you just said before, if you'd got the business piece right and you knew exactly what you were doing, the knowledge bit can just be very minimal at the beginning. Like if you just focused on one area of dog knowledge, recalls, for example, like how much can you learn about recall? Okay, arguably you could learn all these different ways of doing it from different people's perspectives and slightly different methods. And I don't mean methods. I mean, there are certain techniques that someone would use and someone wouldn't to get the same result. However, it's still a bloody recall. Like you could just be the recall person and get really, really good at recall. And then you go, okay, I think I'm ready now to add in some loose lead walking. Right, I'm going to find knowledge on that. And I know that's quite hard to do in the dog world because we all encompass everything together all of the time. However, I think it could be done. And if you went down the right avenues, you could just get shit hot at everything if you wanted to do it individually first. There you go. That's building your knowledge up in a way that isn't overwhelming, and a way whereby you're just going to target people who need that particular help with that particular issue.
Yeah.
So ideal world, I'm thinking of it that way around. Anyone who hasn't started yet, maybe try that.
Yeah. No, it's a great way of looking at it, because you'll actually combat imposter syndrome a lot with that as well.
Absolutely.
You're like, well, I'm just going to focus on this one area.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you don't want to keep it so specific to a particular training exercise, then just do it in, I don't know, a particular dog or a particular age group or whatever it is. Like it doesn't even matter what that thing is. But yeah, I just think be prepared that it's going to be hard work. Don't assume it's going to be easy, because I think that's where every business owner falls into that trap of, oh, but they're doing it and somebody else is doing it and you can make money from it, but why is it so difficult for me? I put that onus on yourself to go, I am choosing to take this step. I am taking responsibility for my actions, and I am going to consume as much fucking content as possible so that I can be the best, so that this doesn't fail.
Yeah, and as long as that's all in alignment with the goals you've got, the mission, the vision, all that stuff that we talk about a lot, it has to be in alignment. Otherwise, you can just consume information for the sake of it. So
take action on it, study, do what you need to do. But I think, first and foremost, no good time.
No.
Like, in fact, ask yourself this, like, what would you regret more?
Not doing it or doing it wrong or doing it messily.
Yeah,
take messy action. And also, probably worth mentioning, the longer you've been in business as a dog trainer, the harder it is to change. Because let's look at dogs. The older the dog is, the harder the behaviour is to modify. It's obviously just part and parcel, because your thoughts are so ingrained. The way you've done stuff for so long is so ingrained. But that's not to say you can change. Look at me. 14 years, I did the same thing, rinse and repeat. And then I was told a different way or shown a different way. And I was like, oh God, I'm ditching that and I'm going for the other thing, because I could see the light at the end of the tunnel with it. I could see that it was a better way of doing things, and my kind of mind was opened up to another way. So you can, if you're open to it, if your mindset is open and you're willing to learn a different way, go for it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. I like these little questions.
They're good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Next question was... this is one that constantly comes up. This is, I would say this has been a constant ever since we've started Canine Business Academy, but it came up again this week on follow-ups. So you've spoken to somebody, or somebody's been interested, you've sent some information over potentially, and you haven't heard back. They were like, yay, I'm really interested in going ahead, need to speak to the hubby, need to speak to somebody, need to check this, need to check that. Ghosted. You don't hear back from them. That's one scenario. But say we're waiting for the feedback on, are we going ahead or not?
Ooh.
What do we do?
I feel like this could be a 3-day workshop.
I think you're right.
Easily.
We'll condense it for the purposes of this episode.
Okay, so where to start? So there's a few things on this, and one of them is always going to be how has that situation arisen? So are you having a conversation with them on the phone? What has been discussed within that call? Because it's my gut feel, if it was anything like what I used to do, which was pretty shit, I really do need to dig out. I wouldn't even speak to somebody on the phone. So I would literally just blast them an email.
I don't believe you. I can't believe that you did anything shit with regards to sales and following up.
Absolutely fucking awful. Somebody would inquire going, hi, I need insert X training, puppy training, whatever it is. Can you help? I would email back. Hi, so-and-so. Thanks for reaching out to me. I am a qualified dog trainer, no such thing, who have studied with like reel off all the million
CV.
things of stuff. And at this time, I was actually I was working with Sarah Whitehead as one of her mentees. I basically just gave them Sarah's CV as well. So it's like, hi, I've done all of this stuff. Plus, I'm now actually working with Sarah Whitehead. You may have seen her. She has appeared on whatever program it was at the time. I can't even remember. She was on TV for a bit as one of their behaviourist things. Yeah. She's been on this program. Go and check it out. Here's a link to fucking Sarah's website. Go crack on. She selected me. I
used to do that with puppy school. I used to send them to Gwen Bailey's website.
Oh, it's like, why am I doing this? Yeah, said all that other stuff, and then so that could have taken up. You know what? Like if you're thinking, like if you was reading that on your phone now, although I still think it was at that time when maybe more people looked at emails on their like a laptop
desktop,
rather than your phone. But fucking hell, if that was on a phone now, I'd be like scroll. Okay, right, where's the thing? And then it'd be right. So you can work with me by either you can have a one-off consultation, and I think that was around £90. You could do. I can't remember if I jumped to 2 or 3 sessions, but again, like one of those things.
It's bound to be 3.
And then that was another thing. And then you could have 5, because it's always odd numbers, isn't it? Odd numbers, yeah. And then you could have 5 sessions, which was like 300 quid or 350 or something. It's totally up to you, though. It's like your choice. Bearing in mind, at this point, I had no fucking clue what it was the person actually wanted. They just said, I need help with puppy training. And I'm like, launch the attack! Send everything that I have got. Please buy from me.
Overwhelmed.
I have totally sold myself here, haven't I? Have I not shown you like I've studied all this stuff and that here are my price points? But it's okay because there's no pressure. It's absolutely fine. Like you pick. I'm not going to tell you which one you need. A, because I can't, because I actually haven't got a fucking clue what you want. But B, also, oh my God.
Sounds so ridiculous when you say it
honest
like
to
that.
God.
But it's exactly it, though. What you've just said there and the way you've just said it is exactly how it comes across. Like, imagine the owner reading it.
Can you imagine if, actually, so like recently this week, I've gone and got an ear piercing. Well, I've got 2 ear piercings and I'm looking at getting some more ink. You imagine if I emailed the tattooist or the piercer and just went, hi, I want to get, what did I just get done? My conch pierced. And they came back with going, hi, Joe, I have got my, I'm an accredited piercer.
Hygiene certificate, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I've got all of this stuff. Here's my credentials. I've been doing this for so long now. Here's some testimonial. Oh, that was it. I added some testimonials into that email as well. Here's some stuff. FYI, the price point for your conch is £30. But if you want a specific type of piercing, jewellery, then it could be £50. Or if you wanted another type of jewellery, it could be like £90. Which one do you want? And I'm like, fuck. Did I need to know all of that stuff? I kind of assumed that maybe you were good enough that I could go and get my ear pierced. Did I need to know all of that? But no, you don't get, or imagine like, okay, you could use it on any profession, couldn't you? But it's the ridiculousness of, is that a word? Ridiculousness?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it is.
I always feel like I have to question my Ness words.
Yeah, me too. But I think you've got a legitimate word this time.
Cool. Legit word. But yeah, so getting back onto the question of the follow-up. If that's the context, then I would not be surprised if you got ghosted from that.
No.
Because there's nothing to follow up with, if that makes sense. Because I've literally given them everything. I've met them on the date for the very first time and I've basically asked them to marry me.
And there's nothing clear about any of that, really.
Nope.
They do not know what they need for their situation because you've never spoken to them and you haven't delved into it. So how are they supposed to know which choice to make? Yeah,
exactly. And actually, the analogy I really do think of with that dating bit just makes me chuckle every time because it would quite literally be the same as going like, hi, you're a fellow human being that I have met on a dating app. You're living and breathing, and you're also looking for a relationship. So should we put a ring on it?
Hold on a minute. Do your CV first, and then should we put a ring on it?
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm assuming that's a bit done because it's been on the dating profile.
Oh yes, okay.
But yeah, it's like, okay, look, now we're here. We're both in the same
Ready and
situation. Like, let's go for it. It's like, okay.
Love at first sight.
Exactly. So yeah, so in that scenario, I mean, I would still suggest that you do follow up, but my advice would be pick up the phone.
Yeah, but you've already overwhelmed them.
You have
They've
already
probably gone
overwhelmed
somewhere
them.
else anyway, to be fair.
I mean,
let's just face it.
But you know what? The joys of life and random reinforcement. I did make some sales off of my shitty emails.
This is the problem, isn't it?
It
Because
works.
sometimes it does work.
It does work, yeah. So I totally reinforced myself. I did have some really dodgy ones though where I rocked up and because of course I was going to let them pay in cash at the time, didn't I?
Yeah.
Why
It's
not?
what you do.
Trustworthy.
That's what you do.
Did I get paid? Fuck off, did I get paid? Did I rock up at some really dodgy establishments? Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? If I could write a book about all the dodgy places I've ever been, not just for dog training sessions, but like home visits when I worked for the Blue Cross, I barely came out alive.
Yeah. It's yeah. So no, follow up.
Okay, so that example is one. What about the example of we've had a call?
Okay, so we've
they've
had a
gone
call.
away and they've checked. They're checking, or that's what they've said. We don't know. They really are. It's a good excuse.
Yeah.
What
There's a
is it
few
about
things-
that call? Is it I think I know the answer to it. Well, I do know the answer to this. It's going
I should
to
hope you know
be-
the
I was
answer.
going to say, I think I know the answer to it. I do know the answer to it. But are we looking at the questions we're asking? Are we looking at the way the call has been left? Are we looking at no logical next step for them? We've left it to them and it's too vague. Like, what's the
I
priority
think
thing, would we say?
we have to remind ourselves that the human race has been brought up in a world where sales is bad.
Yes, icky.
Sales
Sleazy.
is something to be avoided. Sales is something bad, icky, sleazy, pushy. Yeah, all of like the negative words that you can associate with it. So when you recognise that that is actually the fact, then look at the reinforcement people have had from pushing salespeople away. What do you do? And you only have to ask yourself, like, if you're walking down the street and you've got big issue man, if you're in the UK, going, big issue, please. Did you like that? Do you look him in the face and go...
We'll do some market research now on big issue people.
From this laughing. But yeah, Mr. Big Issue Man.
We haven't had a laughing fit for a while, people.
Actual streaming. Yeah, but you're not... 9 times out of 10, you're not going to go, oh, yes, please. That's a brilliant idea. Thank you ever so much. You're going to go, no, thanks, and walk off.
You're invading my purpose at that point is to get into Tesco's, not to buy a big issue.
Fucking Tesco's again.
How many times has it been mentioned?
Honestly, just get shares. But yeah, but you'll do things that you know will get the person to move away, and whether it's not like
no eye contact,
or pretend to be on your phone, all that kind of stuff. And again, I have done all of these
big
things.
Issue people.
Yeah. And again, think about the things that like bigger purchases, even though it doesn't really matter, but they're typically in that bigger purchase category, like going to buy a car. And if you feel pressured in that situation to make a decision there and then, what are the stalls that you will come out with? Like, I will 100% say I need to speak to my husband.
Oh, yeah. It's so easy to
Now,
use
if anybody knows me, you know full well I do not need to speak to my husband because I am the decision maker and I know my own mind and I will buy whether he's on board or not. They don't know that, though, but it works. Mm-hmm. Because the untrained salesperson goes, fuck, I don't know what to do with this. So, okay, yeah, that's fine. Of course, you need to speak to your partner. Crack on and I'll try and speak to you later. And then you're out. Like, they've lost that sale because they haven't got the skills to be able to handle that situation. Other stalls like, oh God, give me some of the stalls. A big one used to always be, that sounds great. Can you put it on an email?
Yes. Quick one. Have you taken the quiz yet? It'll show you what kind of business brain you've got, where you're getting stuck and what to actually do about it. It's completely free, takes just 2 minutes, and it's for people who genuinely give a shit about doing business properly. Head over to quiz.k9businessacademy.com or hit the link in the show notes. Now back to the show.
Can you send me the information in whichever way, shape or form? I used to do that a lot when, during the days of like Yellow Pages. And they'd ring you up and go, do you want an ad in our Yellow? And I'd like, oh, tell me a little bit more then. And then, of course, the massive sales pitch came in. And they go, so are you interested? And I was like, can you just pop it on an email for me so I can actually have a look at it? And they go, yeah, of course. What's the best email? Tell them the email. And they're like, fuck it, I'm never looking at that ever again.
Never going to do anything with that.
So it's a stall. And again, the purpose of going through it on this is to hopefully help you see that we are conditioned to push people away. So you have to get really fucking good at sales. We've talked about this a lot. Kane talks about this a lot in the pod classes as well. Like, you are a salesperson when you own your own business. So you've got to get fucking good at sales. I realised that several years ago and invested heavily in mentors. And we are going to get him on a future episode. But with regards to the follow-up in that scenario, well, again, how has the conversation been had on the phone? Have you actually discussed anything of real meaning to that individual, or have you kept it super surface level of what's the dog's problem? Who have you tried before? What have you tried before? How long have you been trying the thing that you've been trying? And basically, you are trying to assess in your head whether or not you can help that dog. And arguably, that is the completely wrong thing to do in a sales scenario.
Yeah, because if you ask that question about who have you used before and what have you tried before, you are in your brain going, right, okay, so I think I'm better than that person. I think I'll be able to do that. And yes, I can deal with that problem. And they've tried this and that hasn't worked, but they've not tried what I'm going to suggest.
That's it.
So it's that, it's kind of making yourself feel better in that way, isn't it? And getting rid of that fear of judgment, I suppose, imposter syndrome type thing.
Yeah.
I get why people ask it.
Yeah, you're just totally trying to, and you almost end up going into a bit of a consultative. I don't know why I keep trying to use really difficult words for me to get out.
That's a word.
Consultative.
No, not with that many T's in it.
Fine, like the consultation process bit
better.
On the phone. And again, it's not the place to do it.
Actually, a lot of people do this, don't they? With a discovery call for us is literally like, what are you the right fit? Have you got, like, are our services going to solve the problem you've got, and are we going to work well together? That's literally it. Mm-hmm. But so many people have a consultation call and go into stuff, like deep stuff that, hang on a minute, you don't even know if they're right for you yet.
Yeah.
Really, like, surprises me that people do it that way around.
I think it comes back to that imposter syndrome bit of going like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to support you with this.
Yeah.
But this has to be like a confidence thing, because ultimately tying it back in with that follow-up, like if you are not confident that your service is going to provide the person that you are speaking with the solution that they are looking for, well, then it's pointless following them up anyway. So you can bitch and moan about them all day long that they've said they're interested and then they're going to get back to you and then they never do. But if you haven't given that person the confidence in your ability to support them, not by reeling off your CV, that doesn't give somebody confidence. Honestly, like if that piercer had come back to me and went, oh yeah, here's all my stuff, I'd have been like, fuck off. Like, I actually don't think you are very good, because why have you had to do that?
It sounds like they're trying to justify it, doesn't
it? It's exactly it.
Like from the other side, like anyone who does do that now, just think about it from that perspective and go, like, if you were that person that inquired and that's what someone gave you, it would actually make you go, why are you telling me that stuff? Because that is a given, surely.
Yeah.
That you've got those
things.
I'd
like to think that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about your industry to know whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing, if you've got that thing versus that thing. I don't know.
It's a bit like when you go in and the certificates all over the wall and stuff. You know, you go into hairdressers and piercers and you're like, I've no idea what those things mean. You could have bloody just made them and forged them or whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to ask you because I'm not bothered.
Exactly. It's like, what? It just, and again, like, it's more about thinking from that customer perspective, what does that person need at that moment in time? Assume they've actually done some of their due diligence.
Due diligence.
That, yeah. It's not a good episode today, is it? Assume that they've done some of that stuff prior, and that if they're coming to you, they're coming to you for a reason, and it's their personal reason. Like, nothing else. You haven't got to prove anything that you know your stuff. You prove it by asking powerful questions, powerful questions. Because then, from that follow-up perspective, Matt Alwell, who again, we will be getting on this, he always told me, you will follow up with someone until they tell you to fuck off and die.
You've ruined this now, because I was going to say we're going to wrap up this question with how many times do you follow up? Okay. And I wanted you to tell that story. But you've done it
until
now.
They tell you to fuck off and die. There you go, I'll put it in again. I was like, oh, extreme, but I kind of get your point.
I've never had a fuck off and die.
I've never had a fuck off and die. I've had one person say, can you please take me off your mailing list?
But
I'm like, perfect.
That's not fuck off and die, though.
It's not fuck off and die.
It's like, polite.
Yeah,
fuck off and die.
It is a polite fuck off and die. It's like, please stop bothering me now. It's like, okay, cool, I'm good.
But that's the worst that you're probably going to get, isn't it?
Yeah. And again, like, actually, you kind of want that so that you can go, okay, cool, thank you for letting me know. I will stop bothering you. It's not even bothering. It's like, you raised your hand, you asked for help. And if I flip this into an example at the moment, so those who have followed along, you'll know this anyway if you're new. My mum's got late onset Alzheimer's. I am in that position now where she needs additional support. And I am thinking long-term solution of care homes, which is really shitty and it's a horrible thing, but that's beside the point. The point I'm making is I have reached out to several organisations, like just local care homes that I kind of like the look of, but I don't know much about them. Some have sent me a brochure and just gone, here you go, bang, you do the reading. I'm like, oh, okay. Others, I can't find much information. Like, it's limited information on the website, so I've actually had to put an inquiry in, and they rang me back and said, hi, Jo, we've seen that you've put this inquiry in. How can I help you? Tell me about your situation.
Wow, that's nice.
So I've had a conversation with some of them. And again, because I am genuinely at that stage, which they all know, because the majority that I have spoken to have asked the question of, what are you currently looking for? Like, is it a case of you want it now? And again, think about dog training. Are they just doing inquiring because it's something that they might be interested in, rather than it's an imminent fucking hell, if we don't get this sorted now, then dog's going type of scenario? And so the situation I've said with those care homes is, it's not something I need now. So even if you had a space, like, I can't take it now, I'm not doing it now, we're not there yet, but I'm just trying to do some research and figure out what's what. This one home, I've probably had, when did I do the inquiry? Within the last 6 months, let's say I've done that inquiry. I would say I've had a weekly email from them. So they've put me on a mailing list. Then I've had maybe about 5 attempted phone calls. Sod's law, I'm always bloody busy when the call comes in. Several voice mails. So when they've called, they've actually left a voicemail. Then I've had a few text messages. And the last text message I had was like, hi, Jo, it's so-and-so from so-and-so. Tried to reach out to you several times now. Are you still interested? Just give us a yes or no. I was like, do you know what? Fucking brilliant. Like, there's that 9-word email, text message in the end to go, we've done all of this stuff. We're at the point now where we're not sure if we're annoying the crap out of you.
Yeah, but they're aware of it, yeah.
This is 6 months. I'm like, fair play to you, because actually, when I am ready, they're probably the people I'm going to go to first.
Yeah. But if you flip that round to the person who's doing it, like you're a dog trainer and you're doing those things, going, oh my God, like I keep reaching out to this person and they're not replying and they're not, they're seemingly not interested. Flip that around again and look at how good that is from your perspective to go, they're the one I remember. They're the one that's trying to get my business. They're the one that cares. They're the one that wants a conversation. They're the ones that are just front of mind. So they're the ones you're going to probably go to.
Because ironically, some of the other ones, from an aesthetics point of view, because they're bloody fancy, these places now, like super hotel-y like. Do you know what, if I was basing it on that, then I'd be going, actually, it's this other one that I was really rooting for. This one was almost a bit lower down in the priority list. But I'm like, actually, you've shown more attention to my situation and understood it and wanted to genuinely find out more, and you've kept me on that mat, and not once have I felt bothered, where for the rest of them I'm like, you haven't followed up with me once. Not once on some of the others, and I'm like, fine, fuck you then.
But it's a little bit, really quickly, just to finish this point, but it's a bit like when you go out for a meal, right? So when I was last in Alicante with the girls, we were walking past this really lovely looking restaurant. We're like, oh my God, we need to book a table there. It wasn't even open. We took the number and we found it online, and we took the website, found it online, booked a table, and it was all this foliage everywhere and it looked really fat. And we're like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. It was the fucking shittest experience ever. Food wasn't great. Service wasn't brilliant. They were half empty and they barely came over to see if we needed any more drinks or whether the food was okay. And you kind of like, oh, okay. The next night, we'd been recommended a tapas place, which was a proper Spanish, nice. Like all the Spanish go there, buzzy, looked like a bloody canteen, by the way. So, of course, I was the one going, oh, somebody said, let's go here. And we got to it and they're all expecting something a bit better. And I'm like, oh my God, this looks, oh God, hope it's okay. Absolutely second to none service. Always asking, do we need more? We literally had more bottles of wine because they kept coming over and be like, do you want another bottle of wine, girls? Yep, we'll have one. We probably wouldn't have unless they'd have asked. Now, Did they ram it down our throat? Did they make us have it? Did they put a gun to our head? No. But they were so good and attentive and just cared. You could just see they cared about every table, making sure they were going to them a lot. And it wasn't annoying. It was just that right level. So I'm listening to that going like, that's my experience with kind of restaurants really recently. And it's the same. You can liken it to anything. Yeah.
But honestly, the follow-up is so important because, again, let's face it, like everyone's got busy lives. Everyone's got stuff going on. Like you think if someone was trying to get hold of us these last few weeks, I'd say like nigh impossible. We've been out in the States where signal was genuinely shit. Couldn't really use our phones. Got back, loads of stuff going on, busy. Like it's been really challenging to get hold of us.
Yeah.
So, but if somebody like is persevering and going like, but it's from that place of service, and I think this is the thing that, again, we just haven't got the time to go into on this episode, but the way you handle that sales call, the way that you learn to speak to people, the way that you truly understand being in service of somebody during the sales process.
It's a craft, isn't it? That whole process is a real... a great craft, and when you realise that, you realise how integrity filled it is, and how unicky it is.
It has to be. And I've been in my sales mentoring now for like 5 years, and I'm still in it every day. Like I'm still learning stuff.
Yeah,
because it is such a massive part of everything, and it's. So it's a really tricky, and I hope it's kind of explained why it's tricky to answer the follow-up. Like, yes, in short, follow up until you get told to fuck off and die. But there's obviously nuances within that.
Yeah.
You do like weird sign language.
No, I was going to say we have another. We were going to cover another question, but I think we'll save that for another episode, and we will wrap up on the follow-ups. But that is literally, there is so much more we could talk about with follow-ups, even and the first point actually that we were making about when you're ready to jump in full time to dog stuff. But yeah, maybe we'll do more episodes and expand on those a bit.
Yeah. If you've enjoyed this episode, actually, then let us know what questions you want answering. And you can always whiz them into hello@caninebusinessacademy.com, and we will get your questions answered on the podcast.
Yeah, we're always looking for suggestions, actually, because sometimes our brain is like, when you're in it too much, we know what we would like to talk about, but we want to know what you want to talk about, what you want to hear. So, yeah.
Cool. Until next time, ciao for now.
No more scratching.